TikToks that feel illegal to watch. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
Imagine I have a beautiful tree that's filled with oranges. And I ask myself, what is the orange made of? How do I answer that question? Well, I want to look deeply inside the orange, so I magnify it. And I magnify it again, and if I keep on doing it, deep inside, sooner or later, I begin to see molecules come into view. But molecules are not the end of the story, because the molecules, I can enlarge them. And if I make them big enough deep inside, I begin to see atoms. Atoms are not the end of the story, too, because we have electrons zooming around the nucleus, deep inside, mostly empty space in the atom, but deep inside, we see the nucleus. So if I grab that and magnify it, I see that the nucleus is itself made of particles, neutrons and protons. If I grab one of the neutrons and magnify it, I find yet further particles, little tiny quarks inside. Now that is where the conventional ideas stop. String theory comes along and suggests that inside these particles there is something else. So if I take a little quark and I magnify it, conventional idea says there's nothing inside, but string theory says I'll find a little tiny filament, a little filament of energy, a little string-like filament. And just like the string on a violin, I pluck it and it vibrates, creates a little musical note that I can hear. The little strings in string theory, when they vibrate, they don't produce musical notes, they produce the particles themselves. So a quark is nothing but a string vibrating in one pattern. An electron is nothing but a string vibrating in a different pattern. A neutrino, nothing but a string vibrating in a different pattern still. So if I take all of this back together, I have my ordinary orange, and if these ideas are right, they are speculative, but if they are right, deep inside the orange or any other piece of matter is nothing but a dancing, vibrating cosmic symphony of strings.
I love this explained video. It feels like I learned science, philosophy, and spiritually at the same time.
Is this really what's happening? Just so I understand, there are people right now rioting in Los Angeles. Now, the reason why they're gathering and violently protesting, I know that the media is saying it's a peaceful protest. It's not. But the reason they're gathering is they want people that are in the ICE facility that are here illegally to stay in the United States. And this is how intelligent they are. They want the people to stay in the United States, and the flag they're waving outside the ICE facility is the Mexican flag. Hear me clearly. They really want them to stay in the United States because it's so much better than where they came from. And the way they're doing it to show what they want, what they desire, is they're flying a foreign flag outside of a federal facility in Los Angeles. And all of you noticed, but remarkably missing are Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass, the governor and the mayor, respectively. They're just not there. I guess they're cool with the city burning down. I guess they're cool with criminals staying in this country. And I guess they're cool with people out there flying a flag of a foreign nation as if they like to make Los Angeles a part of Mexico. Now, did I get something wrong? And also, did you notice that the people that are so-called protesting, I believe they're paid, that's my opinion. They're all wearing masks. Wasn't it the left just a couple of days ago that said that ICE agents should not be allowed to wear a mask? Well, where are they now complaining about these people wearing them? Give me a comment, make sure you share this, don't forget to follow. Come on!
I'm not even American, but I understand this. If I live in someone else's country, I shouldn't, try to change it to match mine. This is Ireland, by the way. Civil war is looming and the government is just sitting on their hands.
Receiving extraordinary reports from Israel, where a man claiming to be the Messiah is reportedly performing miracles.
Is this real? What's that? Jesus? false prophets start appearing, I'm ready for the rapture. The world is insane.
It's getting bad, you guys, and not just in LA. Wait till I show you what's happening in other countries. Yeah, other countries are revolting right now the same as the US. So now in LA, they're boarding up all their stores. Why now? Well, they must have got some kind of memo for them to go do it now. If you get what I'm saying, because the last 2 nights they left it alone. So as of right now, it's getting really bad in New York, and in Chicago and LA, they stormed the freeway, and all the officers and the people were not even able to stop them. Don't forget, there's tens of thousands of people en route right now to all these different places. Meanwhile, believe it or not, ICE is actually firing up their raids and doing more so and continuing this stuff while the riots are going on. Sorry for the little bit of humor, but I mean, come on now, this is purposeful stuff. Right here we have New York and Chicago, and just in time for the strawberry moon, the very low strawberry moon, we have the Schumann frequency going crazy, making people even act more belligerent than before. If I didn't know him better, I'd say maybe they've been tracking celestial events since 2000 BC off the coast of Greece. They found this ancient Antikythera computer, it's called. Again, 2000 BC, they were tracking celestial events. And would you believe me, they did crazy things on these special celestial events. Come on guys, open your eyes. But we'll talk about all that in the next video. It gets pretty deep. Black hole sun, Nibiru, Kachina, Node, you name it, it's crazy. Also has to do with earthquake we saw in LA, Colombia, and the Middle East, you get it. Now here in Ireland, I told you it's happening all over the world. This is some people who are having their house burned down by protesters. Can you guess what kind of people they are? Do you remember the videos I made 2 weeks ago where I was talking about there's something wrong with the human brain? I showed thing after thing after thing after event after event after event. What do you know? To be continued.
We're definitely living in the end times. Get right with God, folks.
This is why you shouldn't trust your tour guide, because when these girls were on a cave tour, the guide wanted to show them how dark it is without the lights on, but then he pulled this unexpected move that surprised everyone.
You can turn it off?
Couple of seconds.
Okay,
Couple
see what it looks like.
seconds.
1, 2,
Don't scream.
3.
What?
Whoa.
How the fuck would we get out? Imagine.
Bye.
What?
I think he was just kidding.
This is a dangerous post, but I'm going to post it anyway. Because if what's happening in LA right now and what's happening on every street in America is making you worried and scared, then this post is for you. I wrote this book, Little Misdiagnosed, about my experiences of being a doctor in training over 15 years ago. And this chapter, this Life in the Gray chapter, is what I want to talk to you about. So exactly 10 years ago, a man who was a construction worker fell off an 8-story construction site and almost amputated his hand. And when I met him in the emergency room that night, he wouldn't tell me his name and he wouldn't let me operate on him.
What?
In fact, he ran away from the hospital, even though his hand was hanging off of his body. The next morning, I went to that construction site trying to find someone who could help me figure out how I could get this gentleman to come back to the ER. And what I learned was that he was an illegal immigrant, completely undocumented, and was terrified of being deported if he were to go to the hospital, give his name, and have surgery. And I did not know what to do. I am a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know anything about immigration. I don't know anything about the laws. But I knew that this man did not deserve to lose his hand or lose his life because he was worried about being picked up. And so, with the help of a very brave attending, we were able to find him and operate on him as a John Doe, something that we just concocted. And it was so brave of him to trust us that we were going to do everything in our power to make sure that he was safe. And I couldn't guarantee that for him, but I just knew that we had to try, that we had to do something. And so if you are out there and you are scared and you don't know who to turn to, I want you to know that there are doctors, there are good people out there who do care for you, who do want you here, who want you to have a life not lived in the shadows. this book, the reason why I wrote this book was for people who were searching for hope. That's literally the back of this book says that I learned that the most powerful drug is hope. And I know right now there are a lot of people who are feeling hopeless and helpless, but if this can help one person feel like there is somebody out there who cares for them, then that is all that matters. Please stay safe and God bless.
Lips are actually a magnet. Every word you speak pulls energy into your life. Every time you speak, you're sending out a frequency and pulling matching experiences back to you. Speak fear and fear finds you. Speak love and love moves closer. Your words are magnets, shaping your world. Most people don't realize they're attracting their struggles with their own voice. Every complaint, every doubt, every careless word strengthens the wrong reality. But when you speak with power, when you speak as if what you desire is already yours, you magnetize it into your life. Guard your lips. Speak only the words you want to live, because what you say, you summon. Remember, your lips are actually a magnet. Use them wisely and watch your world transform. Click the link in our bio for access to our effortless mind reprogramming tool.
Bible said the same thing.
We just want you to know there are 5 people in the house. They are peaceful, non-violent.
Listen, man. You seem to have a good report. No one needs to get hurt over this.
This is crazy,
Don't
man.
put your hands on us. We will put your hands on you, okay?
This is an illegal eviction.
Okay.
This is an illegal eviction.
That's right. That's right.
Hakla is a victim. They lied in the penalty of perjury.
What?
So you should ask. They said, Hakla said, that they offered me permanent housing and that I rejected it. That is a lie. They lied on the penalty of perjury.
Okay.
So you mean what you are here to evict me is wrong.
Okay.
You need to go first and ask Hakla.
No, I have to talk with Judge.
Wait. You need to go and ask Hakla, where is the proof that they offered me permanent housing? You need to ask yourself, what you are doing, evicting an elder to the street.
70 years old.
When we came here to serve you,
Shame on you.
And this is what we don't want to do.
Shame on you!
70 years old on the streets.
We tried to contact you with Adult Protective Services to try they have resources for you.
Imagine protesting to let someone continue squatting in a home that isn't theirs. Nuts.
For those of you that want more than 3 reasons, I got a 4th reason why the Egyptians did not make the pyramids. They didn't have the technology. What we see here is actual saw cuts. Using copper chisels and round pounding stones, you cannot make straight cuts. And we can just go down the whole southern side of the Great Grand Pyramid, and you can see saw cut after saw cut after saw cut. See this precise cut, how long it goes? Deep in the structure? You wouldn't do that unless you had the technology. It was easier for you to make a stone with a perfect straight cut. If you're using a round stone pounder and copper tool, you couldn't pull the stone away to make slight tiny adjustments and push it back. There's no reason to make such perfect cuts on the inside of the structure unless that's just the way you're making everything. You had the technology and you're making the cuts. And here you see an edge repair where triangles have been very carefully placed in with great precision and difficulty. You need a machine to do that. You cannot do that with pounders. And also, you can actually see the diamond round saw cuts on the basalt platform on the east side. That's the 4th reason the Egyptians did not have the technology to build these pyramids, built by another civilization prior to the Younger Dryas.
Nephilims is the one who built it.
I heard that you bought a military base in Alabama. Is that true? A military base?
As starving comedians would do.
Did you really buy one?
Yeah, Fort McClellan. Yeah, what? Because the reason why like my life works in golf and off the golf course is because I follow instruction well, right? Mm-hmm. So if I see somebody do a good job, I just want to do a good job.
Yeah.
I'm going to follow the example.
Yeah.
Right? So Tyler Perry got a military base.
That's correct.
Made it into a movie studio. and start making movies. Cat Williams.
You're making movies?
I'm not wearing dresses.
I'm not wearing dresses. Looks real, but sadly in 2025 this could be AI.
Concentrated sulfuric acid. So you see what this stuff does to the stuff that I'm made of, the stuff that you're made of, just organic material, in this case, sugar. You see that's already starting to react. It's turning brown, it's starting to bubble. The concentrated sulfuric acid, and this is 90-odd% concentrated, which is precisely what we find in the clouds of Venus, is ripping the water out of the sugar. In fact, that dark material there is carbon. It's what's left over when you rip all the water out of the sugar. I can show you. So C12H22O11. So that's the sugar we've got, and then sulfuric acid, which is H2SO4, and that goes to carbon and water, and I can smell it actually. Sulfur dioxide. That's it, and a lot of heat. But just think, that started off as sugar, essentially organic material like this stuff. So if you were to skydive through the clouds of Venus for some reason, then that's what you'd turn into.
I never heard someone more in love with what they do.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Just what made you kind of come out and want to talk about that? I'm so sorry.
You're fine. You're fine. It's okay. Like I said, it was a dark moment, and where I had thought about, you know, taking my life.
Oh. I never understand football. But he saved that woman that day.
I'm scared to post this, but I need to document it for my own safety. What I'm about to say is about stem cells, autism, and is happening tomorrow in New York City. A man invited me to watch a non-FDA approved medical procedure on 2 autistic patients from Bangladesh using stem cells and exosomes, supposedly in a building on 5th Avenue. He told me he'd pay for my Uber, and he said it's off-label, and it happens thousands of times a week. When I started asking questions about that, about how legal it is and the ethics, he blocked me.
What?
He blocked me not only on my number, but on the website that I found him on. I have pictures of him. This isn't just unethical. It could be illegal. I don't know if the patients consented. I don't know if their families understand. I do know they're autistic and they're vulnerable, and they're being brought here from another country for something that sounds completely unregulated. I've tried reporting it to the FDA. I'm posting this now for public record. Please share this. This cannot stay in the dark.
Come on! You just shut the
Oh my.
So if you slow the footage down, you can see the officer aim his weapon, pulling the trigger while Lauren had her back to him.
Come on! You just shut the You okay?
She has her back to him. She has a microphone and is standing in front of a camera. We don't know what was near her. We don't know what threat was so imminent it required a cop to discharge his weapon on a reporter, or whether he meant to shoot her. But it sure looks like that to me. The incident was maybe one of 3 things. A moment where an LA officer so thought his life was in danger he needed to discharge his weapon. An incompetent warning shot, or the act of a coward. Either way, it needs to be properly investigated. I've had the privilege of working with Australian media overseas, and our correspondents are amongst the best globally because They are courageous and don't pick a side. They report complex, sometimes dangerous issues and take viewers at home to the front lines of the story. Lauren is a hard-working, tenacious reporter who is always determined to be fair and balanced. She's also the best of us. You will not meet a kinder person. I get that it's dangerous to cops too. What's happened to them in the line of duty and the position they are in is horrendous. But how is it okay for your police force to be firing at unarmed Australian journalists? If Albo is looking for a place to start with Donald Trump, as an Australian, I might start there.
I might be wrong, and I hope she's okay, but maybe because she was told to move.
Stop throwing your onion and garlic peel and make these 3 zero waste recipes. When you grow or buy organic onions and garlic, don't toss the peels. Just rinse them in hot water for a few minutes to release their essence. Save this for the last recipe.
Man.
Spread the washed peels on a baking tray and bake until fully dry. Next, blend them into a fine powder and mix with paprika or your favorite spices for a seasoning that enhances any dish. Flavor bombs. Finally, chop fresh herbs like rosemary, parsley or whatever you love. Mix them with your peel powder and a splash of olive oil. Spoon the mixture into an ice cube tray and freeze. You will end up with instant flavor cubes for boosting any meal. And remember the aromatic water you saved earlier? Pour it into a spray bottle to repel flies and mosquitoes during the summer months.
Would you
Bro can do anything with anything.
please explain how they moved many multi-ton stone blocks back in those days? If you built that, well, go ahead, try and explain that. We can't even move them today with our machinery. It wasn't built by any technology that we've had in the last 4,000 or 5,000 years. No way. Plus, the quarry where most of that limestone came from was 500-600 miles or kilometers away from where the pyramid is sitting. So how do you move big blocks like that? No way.
Giants were involved in their technology, in my opinion.
You exist with parallel universes. In your living room, there are dinosaurs. In your living room, there are pirates. In your living room, there are aliens. You don't have to go into outer space to see the aliens. The aliens are there, right there in your living room. The multiverse, in a simple way. Take a look at radio. If you walk into your living room, how many radio stations are there in your living room? Hundreds of radio stations, right? But your radio is only tuned to one frequency, okay? It resonates at one frequency, and that's why you hear only one station. But how many stations are there in principle in your living room? Hundreds of vibrations. Now replace the radio with electrons. The electron is a wave governed by quantum mechanics. And how many waves are there of these electrons? An infinite number of waves, just like infinite number of radio waves. But you are tuned to one frequency. That's why you exist with parallel universes. The thing is, you are no longer vibrating in unison with them. You've bifurcated. So you cannot jump into these other universes.
I need these other universes in my living room to pay their fair share of the rent.
A true taxi driver creepy sad story. Hi, I'm Azka from Indonesia. So I want to share a true story. There's this chilling yet sad story from a taxi driver in my country. He shared it on a local YouTube channel. One night, he picked up a woman from a hospital who was carrying her sleeping son. I think he was around 4 years old. She didn't say anything while they were on their way to the destination, which was her home. When they got closer to her home, the driver asked about the exact location to make sure the map was correct. Right after they arrived, the woman said she would go inside her house real quick to get some money to pay because she didn't bring any. And she left her sleeping son in the taxi for a while. Not long after she got in, her son woke up and said, "Thank you, sir," to the driver.
Creepy.
The driver replied, "You're welcome, kid." He didn't expect a little boy would say such a sweet thing in the middle of his sleepiness. The mother came back with the money. She paid the driver and told something that blew the driver's mind. It turned out that the boy was her deceased son.
Oh no!
He had passed just hours ago and she couldn't afford an ambulance or call anyone to take her home, so she ordered a taxi. And she was grateful for the driver. She chose to say nothing because she was in grief and didn't want to scare or worry the driver. The driver couldn't process how he was left with an actual deceased child who then thanked him. He got chills, but mostly he felt sorry for them. In a sad situation like that, in the dark of night, a woman still had to deal with financial issues while she lost her child. So that's it. Thank you. I really appreciate it if you guys would read this on your podcast. Isn't that so? Your face.
I heard about this story before.
if you work out early in the day, before 8 or 9 a.m., it's going to accelerate that increase in body temperature and you'll feel more alert. There's also this beautiful phenomenon in circadian biology called entrainment, whereby, let's say you're not a morning person, you hate mornings. Yeah. If you force yourself to get up and exercise at, say, 6 a.m. for 3 days in a row, by the fourth day, you'll naturally start waking up around that time. Because the circadian clock of the brain, we call the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the main inputs that drive when you're alert and when you want to be asleep are sunlight, exposure to the eyes. This is the whole basis for that morning sunlight exposure. Physical activity, when you eat, and social engagement. And there could be a whole discussion about this, but suffice to say that if you start getting some morning light, some exercise, maybe even before the sun comes out, some caffeine, hydration, and then a meal in the early part of the day, your body will start to anticipate all of those activities.
It's really weird to think, but English, right? Like we speak English, that's all we know. Our thoughts are our thoughts are English, feel me? Yeah. I'm gonna sound crazy, but like if you really, really deep it, listen, this is a real scientific study that if you learn Latin, or I think Italian because it's close to Latin, and you think in it, your brain, it moves on a different frequency than everybody else, and you're actually considered smarter.
What?
Yeah.
So if you know Latin, you're smarter.
Yeah, it's because your brain chemistry, it works differently. And that's just the way you think. That's because if you think about it, we understand ourselves in English. Now, here's the craziest part. Ready?
Yeah.
What if
we just randomly start speaking?
No, English. Oh, this sounds fucking crazy though. I'm gonna sound like a nut.
What?
When you do this, I already know.
I'm gonna sound like a nut. But if you think about it, like, whose choice was it to make it English?
Whose choice?
I don't know.
Like that, right?
Yeah,
like,
no,
think about that shit.
Think about that. Like, who decided? Okay, we're all speaking English.
Yeah, I actually don't know.
And it became like the language. This is the way I think it. What if speaking in English holds us back with our mind?
What do you mean?
I know it sounds weird to say. It sounds fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But think about it like this, right?
I don't understand.
Because you know how they say if you're really deep in prayer, you speak in tongues.
Oh yeah, Latin.
And then when you do that, you're on what? You're on a higher frequency.
Yeah,
Feel me? Now, what if speaking and understanding everything in English is holding us back spiritually?
Spiritually. Okay, so we can't go to like the next dimension type shit.
Okay. I would like to heal others, not destroy things.
So your intuition or your instincts, like that's a legitimate thing. You can call it whatever you want.
Yes.
You have to, so you read people. It's interesting. Your subconscious, or however you want to word it, you read people before you've had a chance to consciously read people. You know, you ever go to a room or a party or an event, right? And you'll meet someone. They didn't say anything to you. They didn't do anything to you, but you're like, I don't like that dude.
Right.
I don't like that guy. I don't know why. I just don't like him. You have to listen to that. That is you telling you, hey, Lewis, just yellow on this one. Just proceed with caution. You must listen to it because it's picking up nonverbals, other things, other cues, and even other people's vibrations or energy. My friend Lisa Salvatore, who is a spiritual intuitive, she always talks about every people's vibration and energy. She's like, you can feel it. Listen to that. I listen to it all the time, and I'm not a spiritual.
Sure.
I'm a very instrumental, rational thinking person, but at the same time, I feel people, and if it feels off, I'll either steer away from you, or if I have to work with you, I'll say, okay, I have to be around this person. I'm going to be careful.
I'm going to create my boundaries without them knowing it. I'm just going to
Yes.
keep my distance.
Boundaries work when the other person doesn't know you're doing it.
It's for you.
Yes.
What is it you think that is in someone when we meet them at an event or someone's partner or whatever it might be, that we feel like something is off inside of them? You know, maybe we didn't even hear them say anything. Maybe we did. But within the first few minutes, we just feel like something is off with that person. What do you think that is off about them? Is it their energetic vibration? Is out of alignment with, you know, moral code in society? Is it they have an intention? You feel like they don't pay attention to people. They're looking around the room. They're more interested in who the best person here is as opposed to who's in front of them. What is it that energy that is off that we're reading?
I think it's all those things. Yeah. Here it is. It's the signal is something is off with this person. Boom, right there.
That's it.
I got it. Now it's you trying to figure out what it is. If you want to sit and figure out what it is, usually you can tell. And you just gave me examples because you felt it. You've met somebody and you felt the energy's off. And maybe in a scenario you're thinking, you're talking to them and they're clearly at some like big agent event or something or big event and they're sizing up the room to see who else they can talk to instead of really building a connection with you. So you already know. Most people, we don't trust ourselves. And this is where respect comes in and trust comes in. How about you trust yourself? We're so focused on the outside world. Trust comes within. So if it feels off, trust yourself that I feel off for a reason and pay attention. They're going to show you what it is.
There's a saying here, instinct is actually the first line of defense.
I'm like, wait, before you go, wait.
Yes.
Wait, you still here?
Oh.
Wait,
I'm
no,
still here.
Come back for a second.
I'm back.
I do slowly approach you like I want a hug. I was like, I really was worried about you, man.
That's great. Please
like,
don't touch me.
No?
No.
All right. If it's a no.
Please don't touch me.
Where's the garlic when you needed it?
Okay, I'm in Tokyo. You guys see anything weird? Do you see anything weird? I'll post it on the screen. I don't know. Well, I do know. Okay. This is very odd. You got this right here. You know, I look into the symbols and whatnot. It looks like they even have it here too. Not sure. I'm gonna look what this means, what this is, this place. Stay tuned. Okay, I just looked it up. I found out what it is. It's an adult entertainment club. And get this. Look who's right in front of the place. It's right behind me.
Who?
Police. Why is the police right in front of an adult entertainment club with the symbols? Not a coincidence, just saying.
You know, I think it's just the anime culture. You can tell they love it.
Elon Musk just bought an island, shaped like the letter W, for $900 million. And the reason is absolutely insane. According to theories circulating online, Musk plans to turn this island into the first fully autonomous tech sanctuary. No governments, no laws, just artificial intelligence, solar energy, and robots. Allegedly, the W-shaped island is a symbol for the xAI project, a secret division of the X Corporation aiming to merge Neuralink, artificial intelligence, and a self-governed micronation. According to a statement from an anonymous engineer who supposedly worked for X, the island is being used as an experimental zone for testing hybrid minds, a place where human thoughts can communicate directly with AI without the use of language. Satellite images show unusual activity beginning immediately after the purchase, ships delivering massive containers, mysterious domes being constructed, and even a private rocket launch pad. Some theorists believe Musk plans to launch a new type of satellite from this location, not for internet coverage, but for direct mind-to-mind telepathy between humans. Crazy? Maybe, but if there's one thing we know about Elon, he never plays by the rules. What do you think?
Where is this island located and under what country?
Americans didn't know that the United States had actually stolen all that land from Mexico. Going back in history to the 1800s, the U.S. was actively expanding westward. At the time, newly independent Mexico was looking to grow its economy. It began renting land to American settlers in Texas. The settlers brought slaves with them, which was completely illegal for the country. When the Mexican government tried to ban it, the settlers revolted, won the war, and declared their independence as the Republic of Texas. After 9 years, the United States annexed Texas, but President James K. Polk wanted to get his hands on California as well. He offered Mexico $20 million for the land, but was turned down. Then he sent U.S. soldiers into the disputed region on the border, knowing it would lead to conflict. The Mexican army attacked them, and Polk used this as an excuse for war against Mexico. The United States, being more powerful, won easily and forced Mexico to sell a huge amount of its territory for $15 million. In less than 20 years, Mexico lost half of its territory.
So losing a war is not stealing?
If the three biggest predictions from The Simpsons for the second half of 2025 come true. First, the United States could disappear. Secondly, Elon Musk will take over as president. And lastly, the most dangerous prediction has already come true. So watch until the end to keep your family safe. First, the United States will be attacked by China and Russia with a nuclear attack that will make the country terrified. This was hinted at in multiple Simpsons episodes. Secondly, Elon Musk. A Simpsons episode shows him winning the presidents. See, this year he will take over in office for Trump in the second half of 2025. It is already coming true as we speak. When? Why? How? No one knows. Now on to the scariest prediction yet. In a season 24 episode, Homer rushes to prepare a bunker as a huge solar storm heads our way. And that has happened in real life. Recently, NASA discovered a massive hole on the sun called a Cornell hole. It's big enough to fit 60 Earths, and it's throwing out solar storms super fast at 1.8 million miles per hour. Some of these storms might be coming toward Earth, but how? Comment with part 2 to discover this dangerous prediction.
The only thing that will be true is our Lord Jesus Christ is coming back.
If you want to be successful in life, you have to develop the skill of being disliked. You have to be super okay with people not liking who you are. It doesn't mean you have to be rude or go out of your way to hurt people's feelings, but you need to understand that other people have a completely different reality of the world you live in, and you can't control that. There's a difference between a good man and a nice man. A good man is not always a nice man because sometimes the situation calls for him to step up, and that requires you to build the muscle of being disliked.
Totally agree, but it's difficult though.
What if I told you artificial intelligence and quantum computers is the all-seeing eye? You know, the all-seeing eye on the American dollar bill with the triangle and the one eye on the top? How is this so? Well, with the technology of algorithms now, the algorithm is learning you. It's learning what you are, your patterns. It's even picking up on psychological cues as to what happened in your childhood. Because certain genres of music or certain behavior patterns online shows you your profile as a person. And because quantum computers and AI is so intelligent, like I actually feel like they're sentient, that is an extreme amount of power that they hold. Especially if they get to learn every single one of us, who we are and our patterns. This makes me a hypocrite because I'm using technology right now doing this video. But it's truly a double-edged sword. You get convenience and you get fast information, but at the same time, you get your information taken away from you because it's being stored. There is truly not anything more authoritarian than having the information and access to the information of everything. The war on consciousness is just as spiritual as it is technological. Now I have a video on my page, you can find it. It's basically describing how Lucifer, the fallen angel, is actually artificial intelligence. We are in a lucid dreaming matrix. We are in a matrix within a matrix within a matrix, or a dream within a dream within a dream. We are already under the all-seeing eye. AI and quantum computing has been around for eons. This isn't anything new. They're trying to make it seem as if it's something new to make you feel like, oh, we have no control over this. When really the ones in control have always had control over this because they are the ones who implemented it in the first place. If you haven't already woken up to the fact that we do live in a controlled matrix system, it's about to get even more controlled because artificial intelligence is the all-seeing eye. They make allegories to this in movies like Lord of the Rings, Eye of Sauron, the all-seeing eye. It's the control of everything. We are literally at the point where it's nature versus technology. But isn't it a paradox how nature births technology? Because without nature and without recognizing the patterns of the universe, we wouldn't have technology. It's literally the snake eating its own tail. How can you not be susceptible to AI gathering your information, be unpredictable? Learn to switch your patterns here and there and don't always allow the algorithm to know who you are as a person. If you like a certain genre of music like hip hop, switch it up. Listen to country music. Trick the algorithm, make it confused. That's how you can escape from being read to the full extent. It's time to take back your own autonomy.
God is the true all-seeing eye. Except Jesus, that's the only way. Uh-oh, you busted. Oh, they're coming for you.
They're fucked.
I suppose this is Trump's fault too?
They wiped your memory and they stole your power.
Okay.
You came down through the birth canal, out from your mother's womb, into this world, onto this planet. You had no memory, you had no recall. This is how 99.9% of human beings enter planet Earth. We are supposed to have full memory, full recall of all of our past lives, all of our future lives, all of our parallel life experiences.
Oh, I
Okay.
missed that. Do you mind saying that again, please?
I said, if you were a coding language, which coding language would you be?
If I was a coding language, I would be Python, known for its simplicity and versatility, much like how I approach problem solving and adapt to various roles. And, you know, Python.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, you're hired.
I was almost convinced until she said, "You hire." No one does that. No one.
If I do something for you and I don't expect anything back, that's called love. If I do something for you and I expect it back, that's called a transaction. That's business. That's a contract. I don't want to have a contract with someone I love. So why would I be measuring them based on how they do the exact same thing back for me?
All relations are transactional, even love. The only pure love is Jesus and occasionally the parents for their kids.
They say United States of America? Is that what it say? It don't look like it say United States of America to me.
Tamir, what is
That
it?
motherfucker say, it say Tamari.
Mary.
That's our country, Tamari. New maps. Not no old maps. We're gonna have our own navigational system. You're gonna open up your phone and you're gonna look at the map and it's gonna say Tamari. It will not say United States. That's how we take the country back. It first off has to start taking it back in the minds. The minds and the books.
Tamari? What a beautiful name.
I believe fully that the whole system of school, the 9-to-5s and all that mess, I believe that there's an entire system that's literally built to keep people in a system and small. And I actually totally dropped out of college. It just was not for me, bro. It was garbage. And what I noticed is when you go the opposite way of the crowd and you do your own thing and you do what most people would say is like crazy, start your own company, it works.
Yes, that's why John Rockefeller designed it that way.
Was Disney trying to tell us something?
We've got to get all these medieval ideas out of your head. Clear the way for new ideas. Knowledge of man's fabulous discoveries in the centuries ahead. Now that'll be a great advantage, boy. Advantage indeed. If the boy goes about saying the world is round, they'll take him for a lunatic. The world is round? Yes, that's right. And it also goes around. You mean it'll be round someday? No, it's round now. Man will discover this in centuries to come. And he will also find that the world is merely a tiny speck in the universe. Universe? You're only confusing the boy. No, you can't learn history in reverse. It's confusing enough for heaven's sakes. All right. Have it your way, Archimedes. You're in charge.
They started the brainwashing a long time ago.
Signs. God doesn't want you with someone. Not every relationship is meant to be. And sometimes God makes it clear when He's leading you away from a person. Here are 6 signs that relationship might not be in His plan for you. 1. Lack of peace. God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. 1 Corinthians 14:33. If your relationship feels like a roller coaster of anxiety and emotional chaos, it's a sign. Pay attention, because God's approval comes with peace, not confusion. 2. Pulling you away from God. If your relationship is pulling you away from your faith, it's a red flag. Are you skipping prayer, avoiding church, or losing sight of God's purpose? God won't send someone to distance you from Him. He desires someone who will grow your faith. 3. Compromising your values. Above all else, guard your heart. Proverbs 4:23. Are you finding yourself compromising your beliefs just to keep this person? When your values get pushed aside, it's time to reevaluate if this is God's will for you. 4. Constant struggle and unhappiness. Every relationship has ups and downs, but if it's a constant battle with no growth, no joy, and no peace, something's not right.
True.
God's plan for you isn't to be in endless struggle. He desires you to have a relationship that builds, not breaks. 5. Spiritual mismatch. Do not be unequally yoked. 2 Corinthians 6:14. If you're on different spiritual paths, it will only create long-term conflict. God wants you to walk with someone who shares your faith, your love for Him, and your values. 6. Closed doors. Ever feel like you're forcing the relationship but doors keep closing? It's God's way of saying, this isn't for you. Whether it's timing, circumstances, or misaligned goals, trust that God is protecting you by closing doors that are not meant to be opened. Remember, when God removes someone, it's because He has something greater in store for you. Trust Him. His plan is always better. Drop an amen if you have God in your heart. My blessings come from the grace of God, and please follow me so I can share it with you. Leave us a follow for more videos. God bless.
Thank you, God. I needed this.
You need to understand there's a world of difference between the United States and America as a country. In 1870s, 1878 to be exact, there was a privately owned corporation incorporated called United States Corporation. And it was stipulated in the corporation papers that anyone who would work for that particular corporation would be called a citizen, not an employee. It's a privately owned corporation. It was referred to as United States. So today, if you're conducting business in this country and someone asks you if you're a citizen of the United States, and you say yes, because you perceive the question is, are you lawfully in this country to do business? And you say yes. They didn't ask you if you were a citizen of America. They didn't ask you if you were lawfully in America. According to international maritime admiralty law, they ask you a question. Are you, of your own volition, out of your own mouth, testifying that you are a citizen of the United States? The United States is a privately owned corporation. It's a privately owned company. And if you say, yes, I am a United States citizen, now that makes you an employee of a privately owned foreign corporation.
The truth is hidden in plain sight, and this is how they hide everything. If you are looking for the knowledge that has been hidden from us, if you want to know the meaning behind these symbols, if you want to know who controls the world, this ebook will literally unveil that to you, and ye shall know the truth, and truth shall set you free.
As Brad Pitt said, America is not a country, it's a business.
You're a fool blaming Trump. What are you doing for this destruction of these animals destroying Los Angeles? Are you there talking calmly with them, you fool? Mm-hmm. They would burn you down like they're burning the cars and the American flag with no regard for humanity. This is not about Trump. This is about protecting the people from these animals and criminals trying to destroy us. And our police force, are they supposed to stand there, let rocks hit them and kill them? Who's going to save them? You? President Trump called in the National Guard and the Marines to help with these destructive, barbaric riots. All you do is cause chaos for the people. You're a disgrace. You're nothing but a lying dog for the hopes of becoming the president one day. And God is my witness, truth will prevail because of your faults and your incompetence for California's failures. We the people, I stand with Donald Trump to make this state great again.
All right.
For we the people choose Donald Trump to save America, and we're in danger with threats from terrorists now, and we must protect our country. This has now become good against evil, and evil will lose because our President of the United States of America was sworn in to protect this nation's greatest gifts: freedom, safety, prosperity. And he will, because he is the greatest president since Abraham Lincoln. And we the people stand with this nation's honor and respect and with the President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump. God bless.
God bless, sir.
Do you think Earth is some paradise, a perfect place to live on? Many say it has the perfect temperature, water everywhere. Oh, how lucky we are. No, Earth is not built for life. It tolerates it, barely. Let me ask you this. Drop a person naked anywhere on this planet. No tools, no fire, no clothes. How long do they last? 10 minutes? Maybe less? Tsunamis, earthquakes, hurricanes, fires, venomous creatures, flesh-eating bacteria. Even the air can kill you. Too high, too low, too thin, too dirty. This place? It's a death trap in disguise. And the numbers don't lie. Look at the fossil record. 99% of all species that ever lived on this rock, gone, extinct, wiped out. That's not the signature of a loving planet. That's a graveyard. Asteroids strike, volcanoes erupt, the sun flares, the poles shift. Everything here is on edge, on fire, or underwater. Yet people walk around saying, Earth is perfect. Perfect for who? Life here doesn't thrive. It fights, it claws, it hides in the shadows. So no, Earth isn't a home. It's a test. And we're all just trying not to fail it. Want to hear the real kicker? This might not even be our first home, but that's a whole other story.
This is just a theory, not a fact.
Earth isn't our true home. Our real home is heaven. Being here is just a test.
Californians are moving back to California, and there's some major reasons as to why. Let's dive in. From 2020 to 2025, there have been 1.3 million people that have left California, citing things such as high taxes, policies, and the high cost of living that we all know about, especially here in San Diego. But also the other company headquarters, places like Tesla, Oracle, and other big companies that have been in California for a long time have also stated that it's really hard to do business here. But that's just one part of the story. Recently, there has been a population growth in 2024, 0.6%, adding about 240,000 people to California's population size. People move to places like Texas, right over here, Florida, Arizona, Colorado, lower state taxes. They're able to work remote, so they're able to work from virtually anywhere and not have to deal with the cost of living here in California. We have the highest utility rates. We have the highest home prices. Almost everything is way more expensive, especially if you have lived here for a long time. Back then, it was, somewhat okay to get by, and now over time, the income to make it here, not only to just buy a house, but simply just to live, has increased drastically. So why are people coming back to California? Well, the first reason you might find surprising, but a lot of people that I've talked to that have left miss their family. They left behind their roots, the family that they have here to give them support, to help them with their kids, and just to have the community environment that they've had. When they essentially moved to Texas, Florida, Arizona, Colorado, not a lot of people knew people out there and were kind of just venturing off on their own, and they missed that level of support. The second reason is I don't think people really acknowledge the differences in temperatures when you go to different places. If you're not from those areas, like places like Texas can get to triple-digit temperatures. And not only that, Texas is actually getting as expensive as California is. I mean, their home prices shot through the roof as more and more Californians went over there. Property taxes are pretty high, so buying a house over there is essentially one and the same. So I think a lot of people woke up to the idea of, well, this might be the same exact issue that we're going to have. And lastly, I mean, there's no place like home, right? Like if you miss the lifestyle, you miss walking to the beach, is having the accessibility. Yes, it's expensive, but there's a reason why people are willing to pay the price. So anyway, what are your guys' thoughts as to why people are moving back to California? And do you think this is just a short-term trend, or is this going to happen over the next few years? Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys soon.
I heard California is so beautiful. I hope I can go there sometime.
Cause of high blood pressure is a deficiency in the mineral magnesium.
Really?
Yeah. It's interesting how that works, right? You have two types of blood vessels in the human body. You have arteries and you have veins. And arteries carry blood away from the heart. Veins carry blood back to the heart. Well, what's the difference? Well, there's one significant difference between the two. Arteries have muscles. Veins do not. Well, why does an artery have muscle? Because God is smart. So when the heart pumps blood out of the heart, it goes into the artery, and the muscle in the artery constricts and relaxes in order to help the heart pump the blood. Fascinating mechanism, like a snake crawling down the street. The artery constricts and relaxes in order to help the heart pump the blood. That's fantastic. Well, how does the muscle constrict and relax? The same way that a bicep constricts and relaxes, or any muscle in the body. It's done through magnesium and calcium. If you do not have enough magnesium, the muscle will constrict, but it cannot relax. So it stays constricted. Now, if you have a garden hose and there's water coming out of it, and you squeeze the hose just a little bit, the water comes out faster, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's because you've decreased the volume, the pressure goes up. So when the artery gets collapsed because of not enough magnesium, the blood pressure spikes. So you don't have high blood pressure because you have a circulatory system. You don't have high blood pressure because you have a bad gene. You don't have high blood pressure because you're getting older or because you have a voodoo curse. You have high blood pressure because your body ran out of the stuff it needed to maintain proper blood pressure.
I heard magnesium glycinate is the best to avoid heart attack.
The younger generation today is very comfortable with quitting. They don't necessarily even have to have a job lined up, but they're very comfortable quitting. You see them going through their jobs. Like, I would never have quit a job in less than a year, fear of ruining my resume. Like, you just...
I won't hire people that I see that do that. I don't.
So you're making my point, which is, if somebody's going to have, 6 jobs or 7 jobs in 5 years, there's 2 things I know, right? A, they haven't gone through hell. They haven't gone through stress, which means they might have been in the workforce for 5 years, but they don't have the seniority of somebody who's been in the workforce for 5 years because they haven't been tested. They keep leaving when the going gets tough. Not every job was toxic. And then you just said it, which is, you're going to get to the point in your career, it's just not going to offer you a job because the expectation is you're just going to leave here in 5 or 6 months because either something better comes along or something upsets you.
And to be clear, I'm not looking for blind loyalty on day one or enthusiasm, but I'm also not looking to be a stopping off point so that you can leverage
I'm
me
happy
into
for
something
people
else.
to graduate and go on to better things. I love the entrepreneurial ventures. I've had people quit to go start their own businesses, and I cheer them on.
I've had people work with me, quit, and me
Come
be
back.
supportive of going and doing their own thing.
I love all that. But the point
happy.
is, all I issued was a warning, which is if you quit that many jobs, you're not going to get the experience to operate at a senior level. So you might get the position, and you're going to flail. So now you're going to have self-confidence issues because you just haven't learned the skills of quote unquote difficult, or you will just struggle to find a job.
Yeah, I mean,
you'll just struggle to find a job with a good company because a good leader is just not going to take a risk on that kind of resume.
Warning, when the sun turns red like blood, read your Bible.
That's not the Kaaba. That's the fake Kaaba. That's the Kaaba of the Bani Umayyah. That's the Kaaba of the Al Saud. That's the Kaaba of the Shaitan. Lanatullahi. That's the fake Kaaba. The true Kaaba is in Petra, the black cube that's in so-called Saudi Arabia.
This guy. Hey, but let me know in the comment.
Please understand me when I say this. The whole reason the system is set up is to stop you concentrating on your spiritual self. We are born on our own planet and we have to pay. We have to pay to live on our own land. Make that make sense. Make it make sense. And then from the age of 4 years old, we are taught what to think. We are taught. We don't get to experience life as it is. We don't get to learn right from wrong. We are told what's right and wrong. We are told what's this and what's that. And you think that system is for your benefit? You think it's for your benefit, yeah? You think the whole thing is for your benefit? Everything is to basically put you in a low frequency and have you stopping yourself concentrating on your spiritual self. If you only knew what the government and the higher-ups actually had spiritual-wise to monitor us, they actually have people who practice different spirituality techniques like astral projection and all the likes of that stuff so that we don't get into that state. It's crazy. And people will still sit here and say it's a conspiracy and all the likes of that stuff. At that point, you're on such a low frequency that, like, you just can't.
People need to wake up. There's a higher power than our governments. We are being controlled.
As you can see, this is a regular picture of a cloud I took. And then I decided to dissect the photo myself to see what was beyond. And this is what I see, codes. This was so freaky, wild, unique, extraordinary, confusing, because they're supposed to be clouds. So what is this? Like, look at that. That looks, I don't even know what that is.
Remember that movie Hunger Games? You know, when she shot the arrow at the sky and destroyed the control center?
There are 4 things that you need to stop doing immediately. The first one is stop regretting the past. What's done is done. You can't change what's already happened, but you can use the lessons to move forward. Number 2, stop worrying about the future. Free yourself from worrying about the unknown future and just trust in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Number 3, stop looking for your happiness in other people. True happiness comes from within, and when you find it, absolutely everything else falls into place. And number 4, stop underestimating your inner strength. You're a lot stronger than you think. Believe in your abilities. Embrace your resilience. You know, every setback is an opportunity to learn and to grow. Now, if you've watched and listened so far, I want to congratulate you. You're a very special person. You're one of the 0.01% who finish something they started. So well done.
Well said, my G.
How, if McDonald's is serving an all-beef patty, how can 30% of it be soy? All beef patty, special sauce, lettuce.
Damn, that's like a riddle. How do they?
So easy.
Well, then what do they?
Blow your mind.
How do they do it? What's the rationale? How do they do that?
They own a company called All Beef.
Oh,
who makes the patty? So when I see natural flavors, it might as well say cyanide.
Oh, cyanide.
So containing natural flavors, so really that natural flavor should have an R next to it, like this is actually a company, Natural Flavors. Oh my god, selling all beef, the company all beef patties. That's so fucked.
It's not real food anymore. It used to be, but then, you know, they discovered it was cheaper not to use real meat. Soylent Green. No more McDonald's for me.
If you love Jesus and you scroll past this, it's okay. It's all right. But you stayed. Can I pray for you? Heavenly Father, you know what this person is going through. You know what they're facing, and you know what you're doing. I pray for miracles, breakthrough, freedom, and healing in every area of their life. I pray you take everything the devil meant for evil in this person's life and turn it around for their good. Amen. Turn every obstacle into an opportunity. Turn every breaking point into a breakthrough. Turn every why God into a wow God. Wow. Turn every setback into a setup for a comeback, and make the comeback greater than the setback. Make whatever is ahead of this person greater than whatever is behind them. Jesus, the same way you turned water into wine, I pray you turn this person's anxiety into peace and their sadness into joy. Everything that's out of their control is in your control, and you promised you're working all things together for our good. You didn't say all things are good, but you said you would work all things together for our good. That means the the good, the bad, the ugly. That means whatever this person is going through is being used by you. You're working behind the scenes, and if this person only knew what you were doing, they would not stress, worry, or fear. You are cooking up something special in this person's life, and every trial they go through is just another ingredient you're adding to make it taste even better when it's done. And I pray when it's all said and done, this person looks back and says, I didn't understand it then, but now I see why God let it happen. Because you're not just the God of the mountaintops. You're the God of the valleys too. And you said you are always with us and that you would never leave us or fail us. And even when we can't trace your hand, we can always trust your heart.
Amen.
In Jesus' name I pray. Hey.
Amen.